Call to order. This is the final meeting of the 2024 Multicultural Task Force Committee. It is 6 o'clock and we are gathered here at the Dodson House at the historical part. And thank you all for coming. Just before we get started, restrooms are right through this door here. And just a reminder that we are recording this, so for posterity purposes. And looks like we have a quorum in attendance. And so we will get started. Regular agenda items. We're going to approve the minutes from the March meeting. I think y'all are all sent those previously. And so if they all, I'm gonna give you just a minute, just in case anybody has any corrections or additions they want to let us know. No one emailed. May have caught something to our attention, but if y'all just quick glance over at the meeting minutes from March. I don't think I mentioned today is April 8th, 2024.
I make a motion to approve the minutes of March 11th as is.
There's a motion on the floor to approve the minutes. Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, minutes pass, and Anna, we will conduct our signature business at the conclusion of our deal. So I'm gonna jump right in. We have lots to discuss tonight. Obviously, discussing the event, the recap, everything about it. We've got kind of our little sheet here, our staff, we're gonna kind of tag team us as far as leading and some different topics. But we will get through everything as far as the event itself. Then individually, as far as the task force, want to hear about y'all's thoughts on the task force and things of that nature. And was it effective? And what did you feel engaged? And things, we'll kind of get into that. And then we'll kind of discuss the future, what we know and what we've been taking place the next couple of months. So that's kind of how tonight will run. But I'm going to quickly start with some of the numbers from the event. 2,100 is what we went with for the attendance.
Wow.
That included those that came through the main gate, and then obviously a lot of performers came backstage, and just kind of a hard count with what the clicker was, and then a best guess that came through, because I didn't physically count up all those performers. They were, anyway, 2,100 is the number that we came up with for the first year, which I think is pretty remarkable for a first year type event. Event revenue was a little over 5,000, and that mainly consisted of the booth fees of all the marketplace, and then our food and beverage commission. The percentages we take from the food vendors is about 1,671. But again, I think as we mentioned from the get-go, this was never designed and never intended to be something as a revenue source. Our task has always been get what, take in what you're able to, but it's not something that the city, there's no attendance, there's no place to park or charge to park. And we did pivot there toward the end about allowing more businesses type to be in the marketplace. I think we had kind of hoped that we would just have multicultural type themed events. We did, or booths, and we did allow some, but we kept it to Farmers Branch businesses. That was kind of, if we're gonna do this, let's keep it at home. So we didn't really go out and solicit sponsorship. So a lot of things are open on the table for next year. Is the sponsorship, does that dilute things? Does it kind of take away from, start seeing logos out there? And whereas we really branded, if you looked around the event, we bought the banners, and you saw basically what we wanted you to see. And that was our logo, our city brand on this. And that was by design. And so that's what, when you run into sponsorship, you kind of give up some of that. But anyway, we'll get direction from council as to how they want to do that. We're going through budget right now with the event and with all of our events. And so we're going to put in more money for next year. I'm thinking this year's budget was, I asked for 35. We ended up spending close to 40 on the event. And I think I'm going to ask for 45 next year because just so you got, we never budgeted for meals. the monthly meals. We love to do it. We're glad, but these are just things that I didn't account for when I'm going through the event budget. Oh, at dinner once a month. And so we'll ask people a little more. And then, and how much more ambitious we want to be with entertainment and things like next year, but that will give us, I feel, the having that luxury of not having to dip into other city accounts, which it was all supported. No one, we didn't, oh, I just said, look, I need 5 more. I didn't, some things are coming in more, a second stage, a second tenant, things were just adding up that didn't account for. So anyway, but, that's just, as we say, by the numbers. We gave a little brief report to, our leadership as far as, recapping the day. There were no, what we would consider major incidents as far as public safety, other than I think the person with the burning their foot was the biggest thing on the stage, just a medical incident. But there were no factors with PD, none whatsoever. I think that meeting we had with them was a good recap. Yeah, they had everyone was just positive. It was just, wow, we really enjoyed this. I tell you, this is something that all the parks guys, and this is kind of an interesting barometer for us, they somehow get told to work the events, they have to sign up, but they're under obligation, they have to be there. And I think all of them pretty much said, we love this event. This is our new favorite event, which I'm like, we were kind of like, what? I mean, we don't hear that from them, right? I mean, the compliments we heard from some of the staff, the guys that were on the golf carts, taking in the performers,
They were fun.
they were, and they just like, this is, you have to look from their perspective. These are guys that, for the last 15 years, they've been doing bluegrass, and it's been the same audience every year. They've got it in the golf carts. It's just, yeah, but now they were faced with, they had different people. It was different. It was new to them.
Yeah.
And just to hear that feedback, I think gave us just an extra boost coming off the weekend, just hearing, because again, these guys are there late. They're there early, they're there late. They were there Friday setting up. And, they're giving up time to their family, but they were there, and just to hear them say how much they embraced it, and to hear them say, this is our new favorite event, I'm like, oh my gosh, that was unheard of. I mean, to hear that from them.
Jaime and I had a good time. We were shooting the breeze with them in the back, and we got to meet Flacco and all the nicknames of all the guys, and
Yeah.
we had a good time with them. They were super nice.
Well, good. And that helps, I think, when they're, we tell them, hey, you're ambassadors for that. I mean,
Yeah.
you're not just there working, you're there representing just like everybody else.
Mhm.
And you're reflective, people see it, if you're just over there. But as you started seeing some of them coming out and enjoying the performances, that's when I kind of knew, all right, they're getting into this.
Nice.
They're having a good time with this event. And I'm just back there hiding behind the
bushes.
stuff, and they're engaged in the event. And that was just nice for us to see that. So that's kind of, I think we obviously had some things unexpectedly happen with the pinata giving way and just, but we dealt with it and everything. But from a city's perspective, the feedback we've gotten has just been wonderful. Can't wait to do it again. And
Great.
so,
I hope we get invited back.
we'll get that. Okay. so that
We were
was-
just practicing this time.
I know, aren't we all? Is there anything else you want to add to that? You guys want to add from just a overall, our perspective of things?
I don't think so. I know, like you're saying, our parks guys kept saying that they loved this event the most. Another reason was the time frame, and it wasn't so late into the evening, because all of our events are night. And so this was different for us having a daytime event, and so the time frame was the time frame.
And it fit their work schedule. They're getting here at crack of dawn anyway. So then for them to be there early Saturday morning was nothing.
Right.
And then, but to bug out by 8:30
Mhm.
was, they really liked that. And so,
They were
Just-
very, very helpful.
Yeah, they were,
Without my volunteers and them,
they were amazing.
Yeah,
I was very impressed.
they do great. I mean, they're just responsive. They do great work, and which takes a lot of burden off us, not having to keep, hey, that trash can is over. I mean,
yeah.
this is
Think
years.
ahead.
They were always on, they were always
Yeah.
doing something. You never saw them congregate. They
Yeah.
were just always dispersed.
So they're veterans at this, and so it's just, it helps us. But so anything else on that before we kind of get into more specifics?
Yeah.
All right, so right now I'm gonna kind of go into the event recap, and we've kind of broken it down to different areas. And so I want to have Liliana start out with entertainment and kind of lead that discussion.
Okay, so we had two stages. We had the main stage and the kids stage. With the main stage, did we like the layout, the dressing rooms, how they got performers got on and off? You think so?
Yes. So, okay, I think like, I think everything is wonderful. The only thing, like, I think probably you noticed too, is the dressing room,
Mhm.
with the order.
Yes.
What's the what?
With
I think like one group took the
There was
dressing
one
room.
group took over, like,
like,
one
for
dressing room,
1 hour.
right? Yeah, they were there early and then they just packed in. So at that point, I was thinking, maybe three, be able to rotate
Like the
them.
more
in.
dressing room.
Just one more.
No, yeah. One person or something like more, I think it's the size there. So
Yeah.
you're allowed to dressing room like 10 minutes or 15 minutes before your performance, and you have to clear the dressing room after that. But like, I think I noticed the one thing, all of our performance, these groups, lots of like kind of relatively, it's not like younger generations. I understand that they need some rest. So some once people just sit there.
Yeah, they were
so it's
hanging out. So
Yeah.
we were talking about maybe labeling rooms, like, as the groups come in, all right, just go ahead and put the name of the group on each one. This is where you're going,
Okay,
and just kind of tear off and then put the next one on. So that
Sure.
way they just know where to go. When they
okay.
come in, if their name's not there, then they can't be in there yet.
Oh,
Kind of
that's a great
To
idea.
police that a little bit more.
Okay,
So we thought maybe just add one more dressing area, but we actually ended up turning the tables and the chairs that were outside.
Yeah,
We
that
turned
was
that
kinda-
into the third waiting area.
Yeah.
so that layout, you could easily take the 10 by 20 and make them into 4 10 by 10.
Yes.
Too small?
No.
I think it's better because that way they clear out faster.
Cause then like there was one group that was like, do you have a women's dressing room and a men's dressing room? Right, so some groups will want to
Okay,
split, or they'll want an extra partition,
so
but
take the 10 by 20, put another partition across.
I would say
make them 4 10 by 10s,
yeah.
Mhm.
and then label them specifically for groups. This.
I think so, groups and times, just
Okay,
information,
yeah.
okay.
like for us, cause I mean,
Like just to put.
I think we
Yeah.
did pretty well though, like,
Yeah.
and, okay, we're clear now, could you can kind
Yeah.
of step
Yeah,
in here.
that's
I
what
think
we
we
want.
did
but
pretty well with that.
we did run into an issue where, that group had taken over one dressing room, and then the
for
girl
like
had hurt,
over 1
the
hour.
girl had hurt her foot, and so then she had essentially commandeered that one. So that was the only hiccup
Okay.
we had there.
Okay, those are easy fixes. I mean, the tent size can easily be expanded. Another 10 foot, just if we need to figure that out, but yeah,
Cause those are
dressing-
already 10 by 20.
I mean,
aren't they?
well, by the time they put the partitions.
Yeah.
in, we only had 2 dressing rooms, 10 by 20. But those can easily be cut in half.
Mm.
And now you've got 4 dressing rooms. They're smaller, but
Yes.
Yeah.
it serves its purpose.
Mhm.
Okay,
Oh, and I think another thing is, on the floor, on the dressing room floor, I think not, like, it's mulch at that time.
Oh, yeah. we were
So
talking
it's
about
a possible to turn some, just like, I don't know, like a pad or something, so,
So like fake carpet like that.
yeah,
that.
yeah.
we
There
have,
were a lot of barefoot performers.
Yeah.
we have decking that we own, that's these, plastic things. So we can put that down.
It would just be uncomfortable barefoot, but,
I mean, they're little group, I mean,
Oh, the
But-
little.
well, and the other
So-
instances where we had that with that heavy rain we had earlier in the
Mhm.
week and then the drizzle
Okay.
on Friday, that part kind of floods and so the mulch
True.
will dry and absorb,
Right,
which is why we put the mulch
Mhm.
down.
okay, so flooring in dressing rooms, we can look at that.
Yeah, and it just like follows the big plastic, I don't know, like used for when the people were younger, so they just crawl, those kind of.
like tarps or?
no, like that kind of like, not necessarily yoga mat, but the.
No, yeah. Yeah.
Maybe even then, it's some,
Yeah, but
We
it's okay,
own-
yeah, we
They're
can.
4 by 8, big plastic, and you put them down for food tent, or it's just artificial flooring. It's like, and they're just
Yeah.
coming big plastic sections, and they're about,
Mhm.
1/4 inch.
but I think those would be
But yeah,
fine.
that'll be
Yeah.
fine. You lay that
Yeah.
down, and then it just gives, it's a little harder surface, and it's safer. I mean, you're just.
Well, because they were all barefoot. and
I
so,
know, it was 'cause there were so many barefoot
Yeah.
performers. They were like, oh, yeah, but it wasn't
Okay,
that big of a deal,
Yeah.
but it
Yeah.
was
sure,
you know,
okay,
um,
all right.
Did y'all feel like y'all needed more staffing back there, more help?
I have a few comments for, since we were there, all days. I thought it went really, really well. There are just a few things. The dressing rooms were one of the things on my notes. And that is for next year, we really need to have a script for the MC. Like, we need to create the script for the MC. She did a great job. And the first time when she talked about how, her family, I thought it was nice, that people get to know her, but then when she brought it up again and then again, and she was only focusing on her booth, it became sort of inappropriate, because there were other, 28 other booths there that would have wanted to have a shout out. So maybe if we have a script for the MC, and the MC can say like, oh, over at, booth 22, where we have, African
That's a
baskets.
good,
we have,
that's a good idea to kind of mention the booth.
Step over to booth 11, they're doing a giveaway right now, or, whatever the
And
the case could
I
be.
know Lily wrote a script, like she had a script of generic bullet points.
Yeah.
For her to follow, so it may have been some ad libbing.
Yeah, we had a few hiccups with
Right.
the stage performances, just
Yeah.
due to the fact that we were running above schedule, below
Right.
schedule, so we were trying to improvise on the bullet points a little bit more. So I think, and especially because it's her first time emceeing, there was like a few mistakes,
Right.
and of course, we could always fix in the future, but
Yeah,
I think it was just a learning
yeah,
experience.
yeah,
I think you did a great
But
job.
when you're the MC, like, you can't make it all about you, like, you gotta, the first time was fine, but then when it kept going on, I was like, oh, that's like not cool.
I will say with the MC, I don't know if she had both schedules for both areas, but like I had to keep calling on the walkie for her to even mention stuff that was going on in the children's
I don't think
section.
she did have.
I think she had
schedule.
the stage only, if I'm not mistaken, because she had,
Okay.
performer information there.
Yeah. She did a great job, though. She was, she was fun. I love the way she did her little T-shirt. I was like, dang, girl, she was good. She did a really good job.
She did good.
I would just have another set of eyes, look at the script for next year,
Okay.
and just make sure that we're saying everything that we want to say. And, and say like, oh, we have, this food booth and we have this, try to be a little bit more inclusive to everything that's going on out there.
Okay.
And then if she can have both schedules, because if she didn't have the secondary schedule, that's not fair to the performers that we had on our end. And it's not fair to me to have to keep calling over the walkie to be like, hey, this is going on too.
Yeah.
While also focusing.
No, I apologize for that. No, I wasn't really focusing. I was trying to really just get her points in. It was like trying to really work on the schedule of it. So yes, we could have incorporated the kids stage a little bit more, I guess, but.
Well, I mean, it's not could have, it should have, because those are also performers that we have specifically for parents and them too. Like, everybody needed to be incorporated in.
So maybe if we just have another set of eyes, just kind of say, how about let's add this, let's maybe,
No,
she did a great job,
Yeah.
all in all. It was just that I noticed was a little awkward. And then, as I mentioned earlier, there were only two performers that I think, the kids that were the younger kids, I really do think that the one that we have here in Farmers Branch would be outstanding. And then the other group that didn't really seem to have a choreography, they were just kind of up there. They were fun. I mean, I was getting ready to go up there and dance with them, but I felt like you wanted something that was maybe a little bit more structured, or maybe culturally that's maybe what they do. I don't know.
Which one?
The Eritrean group,
What's it?
they were
the freestyle, they were just
yeah,
kind of just dancing. This one man, at one point, he went up, and was dancing with them, and I was like,
So I mean backstage and I didn't.
Yeah, I didn't see that. Yeah.
and they were really nice, and but it didn't really seem to have any like a choreography. They just almost like they called everyone, said, let's go, hey, let's
they
go.
probably did. And that's probably how they roll on that.
Yeah,
It was, so unfortunately, we're kind of at the mercy of,
yeah,
I think as I mentioned, probably half the groups had an actual video that we could watch.
yeah.
The others were just kind of, all right, we're on a wing and a prayer here, that it's something that's appropriate, that looks good, and it's gonna relate to the audience.
Everything else
But
on,
you're right, after a while, it's like, okay, what's
yeah,
a free forming dance, something going on
Yeah.
up there that sounds good, looks good, but after the first 10 minutes, it's like,
yeah,
nothing's
Yeah.
changing here.
I have that problem. I think there was a drum, I think it was a Catholic group or something.
oh, the Matachinas,
Yeah.
in the red costumes,
Yeah. It was, I don't know how long they had, but there was quite a lot of repetition that went on.
Okay.
I had to look at it through the curtain, I was like.
Cut 'em out.
This was, which group?
The Matachinas, the Aztec dancers.
Yeah.
Aztec, yeah.
What was
Okay.
that?
Well, so I asked her, I was like, so how do you do this, right? And so when you were talking about the free form and stuff, I was thinking it was them, because she was like, no, I just play a rhythm and it's like whatever they're doing, I'm matching what they're doing, so they just kept going, right? It was like, I mean, they're a great group, but yeah.
Everyone else was really incredible. I really enjoyed working with you and it was in the morning, when all those things were flying away from the tables, we were like, there's plenty of rocks here. Let's get on our game. And I really liked the way that we were all able to improvise and just, do what we needed to do without bothering you as much as, bothering you as little as possible.
Yeah.
No,
I knew you had your own stuff going on.
Trust me, that, when not having to stop and think and come up with a solution, and
Right.
people already, hey, I've got this, don't worry
Right.
about it. That is music to our ears on the morning of setup. We've got this. You go take care of
Yeah.
whatever. So thank you.
This team really had initiative. And they just were, what do you need? How can we help? What do we need to do? And I think it worked really, really well. And it was just such a privilege and it was really a lot of fun. Plus the Chinese orchestra was,
Beautiful.
yeah, it was incredible.
It was so beautiful. I think that somehow if it was in the afternoon where more people could have enjoyed it.
Enjoyed it, yeah.
Yeah, usually it's always set up either the opening or towards
The
the
closing.
end.
Yeah.
There's
That
that.
Just have to come back and close it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Open it and close it.
And then I don't know what the plan is for next year, if you plan to have any, because once you start putting the music element into it, there's like a time, a big window for setup and takedown. So I don't know, what that would look like, but this
that
year was
wasn't too bad,
incredible.
like-
Yeah,
Yeah, but
they
Yeah.
did. They were
They've been-
hauling everything down those steps. Yeah, they did an amazing job.
Yeah.
The DJ, the sound guy, he was incredible.
Daniel,
Yeah.
Oh, you got
Um,
so many compliments because our group performed in so many occasions. This is the best ever outdoor sound system. They got really excited about that part.
Yeah, he
So-
was incredible.
Then they asked me about the videos. I said, okay, I'm only backstage.
Yeah. The folklorico group, we were really ahead of schedule and the folklorico group, someone asked them if they can, drop a couple more dances in and they
Oh, yeah.
jumped right in and did it and
Good,
they were
good.
great. So,
Well, that's very much appreciated.
Yeah.
They can just add to the programming,
Mhm.
so. All right, just to kind of keep things rolling, is there,
That's really it for the main stage. How did you feel about the kids stage? Your face painter, balloon artist, Vanessa.
I mean, the balloon artist and face painter, I think they were fine.
They did their own
They're like up
thing.
there. There was one of our performers in the afternoon who she did like puppets and magic. I don't think we would want to have her back. It kind of seems, I mean, you were watching it more than I was, because I was kind of going back and forth. It just,
The kids seemed pretty bored with it, like they were unimpressed by the puppet part.
okay.
Magic show, they started getting into it, however, she was doing a lot of the same magic tricks as the other magic.
as a hero,
Guy.
yeah, the heroes of the world guy, I like that guy. And then I guess when she was doing the puppetry, it kind of came off. I don't know, you said it came off kind of Riso.
Oh, I just. I felt like some of her puppets were borderline inappropriate.
Yeah.
the
Just the characters.
characters?
Yeah. So if we had to replace one, I would recommend
Yeah,
replacing the puppet show. Our first performer, I forget her name.
I've heard her name too, but she was, Faces from Many Places.
Yeah.
That was her.
She told us it was really hard for, she did music, saying, she said it was really hard to like do her own thing, because she was also hearing the stage or the big stage, so I guess it was kind of hard for her to keep her own tempo and stuff. So I don't know if that's, I don't know, something like maybe we don't hire musicians
Yeah.
next year, 'cause if that's gonna be an issue, or.
Which is fine. I also think that with that act too, as a professional, I would, at least if I were hiring you, I would expect you to be able to improvise or
Mhm.
kind of be a little more professional, be able to work, because none of the other acts really seem to have that problem, and some of them did have music as well. So, and I don't know if she didn't read her contract right or things like that, because there was a timing issue and then just,
Yeah.
so those are the two that, you know, I wasn't really a fan of. Just entertainment wise, I know, for Mansky, the children's director, Dustin, he said that, you know, if they come back next year, that they would probably not do a story time, but do more like interactive. Like just do the whole thing interactive, because the kids, you know, seem to have a lot more fun with that.
How many kids were at any of the given, slots?
Oh, I didn't keep track of the numbers, there were a lot.
Definitely the creature teacher was the most
The creature
popular.
teacher,
Yeah, we had the biggest
More than
crowd.
100 or?
I mean,
Or for each performance, probably at most was like 20 at each performance.
Cause I'm wondering I'm only thinking out loud, but I'm wondering how many of those kids would have also enjoyed the actual adult
Right.
entertainment. It was really cool.
And I think that's a philosophical question this group will have to decide. Is
Okay.
it just,
Mhm.
are you trying to do too much for too many things? Where,
Right.
I mean, they're gonna have the sound issue no matter where we go.
right,
That's not gonna go away.
Mhm.
And I don't know, I'll tell you, what we found a couple of years ago is trying to do cultural stuff, whereas the kids just wanted to play on
right.
amusement rides. I mean, it is what it is. They wanted the
Yeah.
petting zoo. I mean, I know it kind of gets away from our philosophy, but it kept the parents there another couple hours and they
Yeah.
enjoy, I don't know, it's just, we
I-
try to reinvent something like, all they really want to do is just
Play.
play. Right, yeah.
I think if we wanted to get rid of something, we could do away with the kids stage.
Yeah.
They seemed really like the face painting, the balloon artists, and then the bubbles.
And the-
That's where you saw the most kids the whole time.
And that's what we've learned.
Right.
It's just is what it is.
Yeah.
What the creature teacher was telling him earlier, you could get a petting zoo and
Right.
it's still some of the same
Yeah.
animals.
Right.
In fact, we had reached out to the zoo,
Yeah, they
They're
were
tra-
available.
they were not available, but they had, to bring out animals of different countries, so we could combine that, but yeah, I think probably trying to compete with another stage, it's just not gonna be, you're gonna have the same problem next year, no matter who you look.
And I feel like everyone would enjoy, like, I would enjoy seeing animals on the big stage, different kinds of animals. And I feel like the kids would love to see all of those performers,
Mhm.
you know, it's.
Right, but even if we didn't have like a stage area, I think it's important to have a separate area for kids.
Okay.
Because
Right.
that is the feedback that I got from the school and parents that I know that went.
Mhm.
So, because parents need that separate area, especially like the gaming area and things like that. That way you have kids being able to run around and all of those things.
Did y'all feel good on the staffing in the kids area? Did you feel like you needed more or less?
Nah.
No, yeah, I think we were good. And then there was a Parks and Recs guy right there.
Yeah.
If we had any questions or needed help, I would say maybe a little, like if we were to do like a stage again or whatever, have a little like staging area or like a
Yeah.
section, because people were just putting their stuff behind the tent.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Some very,
Yeah.
any input on the games of the globe? Anyone?
Oh, I know that Oscar has said, not to do the bocce balls or the hula hoops for next year. Like kids will like throw them and they'd like get like broken and things like that.
Dang, no hula hoops, huh?
However, hoops are cheap, so.
Tell them just all out there. Run themselves. All right, okay. Well, I mean, I guess conceptually, I mean, and this, we were talking about this today, and this is where hopefully if the cricket people or the FC Dallas, you start getting some things that can expand on, so it's not just family games, you're,
Mhm.
maybe we tried that, things just didn't work out, but that could lead to that area because we have the space for it. So it can possibly be programmed for that. So I'm glad, I mean, we'll continue doing that component because it was kind of self-run and, it didn't take a lot of resources and we own a lot of that stuff already anyway, so. Okay. All right, I think that unless anything else on entertainment, we'll kind of keep moving along. Okay. Marketing.
That would be me. So for marketing for this event, we did Facebook boosted post. Hopefully you all shared those and which I know that y'all did. And then we saw a good return on investment on that, and then we had our flyers around town with H frames. If you still see any, some are still lingering, so if you grab it for us.
In fact, and I told Rob, our director today, I was gonna even say, if you give us the address, I mean,
We can go get
we
it.
can go get them, but that need to be picked up. And I told Rob, we picked up everything we know about. Now, there may be others out there, but seriously, if you've got a location that you just can't get to, let us know. Our guys are out and they've been instructed to pick them up, but there are a lot of neighborhoods, but anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll continue with that. I thought it was effective. We had several people calling us, hey, I saw these signs around town. Anyway, I don't know, it got dangerous this year. I'm not as fast as I used to be. We almost did have an incident on Luna
Yes.
that could have been.
Good have been bad.
It is, but there's some great spots. on it,
Yes.
you know. I just need a park,
You need a police car following you.
well, you know, people don't pay attention, you know, they're on their cell phones and we almost got rear-ended. It's one of those things where it's like, okay, let's rethink maybe how we do this, but
Yeah.
anyway.
I thought the marketing was incredible.
Yeah.
2,100 people for the very first one. That says a lot.
Does that including a performer or not?
Yes, it did. We factored in a fudge number. I mean, we just had to come up with like 300 or 400 that we figured came through with families, backstage, moms, dads, kids. And could be higher, could be less, but that was our number. So,
So this was, this was a replacement for another function we used to do. How did it
Viva.
compare to that?
how did we do the last year? Viva was what, 800
900 people
first year, but then it jumped,
16 doubled.
it doubled the next year to almost 1,600. And so this,
Was equal, like, we just had more entertainers.
Mhm.
Mhm.
yeah, so for a first year, I mean, it was
That's good.
well received. You know, I didn't know what to expect that day. I mean, and then we can get into the next year's date,
Mhm.
you know, whether we were competing with things or what, we can talk about that later on in our meeting here, but. Anything else on the marketing want to share?
No.
What other feedback I got on those, where the signs that we put, it was just like, there was quite a lot of verbiage
Mhm.
and the date or stuff like that. You had to, if you were driving, you have to really look at that,
Right.
you know, so I don't know what we can change on that.
I know, we struggle with that because it's like, okay, you gotta put the basics, right? Location, date. Free, you know. And we had a QR code this time.
Yeah.
Not done QR
No.
codes in previous years, and we thought we were putting enough of them in like in parks and places where people were walking that they could scan. I need to find out if we can track how many people actually scan.
Oh.
on that. I'd be curious to know that, if it was effective
Yeah.
or not, but you're right, it's.
A little bit bigger, maybe, because when I put it right on the median,
Uh-huh, oh,
and I used to, I used to go in there
I did.
and I go like, okay, can I read it? No, but it looks beautiful.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
It is very attractive, it was very attractive.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The colors and everything was very attractive, but it just, the content itself
Yeah.
Mhm.
was, we gotta get the date and free and location.
Well, is there any value in getting, some bigger signs for specific locations? Because then if you see those in passing and then you see it on a bigger one, then it's like, oh, that's what that is.
It does
So
pique your
anytime you
interest
pass
though.
it again, go, oh, I need to look that up.
Saying that bigger one, you know, with the election coming up and the campaign signs that are those.
Exactly.
signs with the gate
Yeah.
posts and
Yeah,
throughout,
That would
like, you-
require getting permission from, I don't think the city wants to start putting those out on city property.
I think that it's, once you see
But-
them, it piques your interest and it makes you want to go on
I
and
mean, if
and
y'all
see
know
what's
some
going on.
key locations, friends, somebody's got a corner that,
I'll go ask that gas station. It's fine.
yeah. Somebody's already down though, our sign was
Did they
up,
really?
and then I drove past it a week later and it was gone, so.
Because campaign signs.
Keep
are-
out there, yeah,
They're like,
but yeah, I think, those could be handled on a case by case.
Yeah, and there doesn't need to be a lot of them,
Right.
Yeah.
just, four corners.
Well, there's
a
a
good one
big
there.
one at Mansfield.
Yeah,
I'm speaking from experience.
I am speaking from experience, yeah.
But the big foldable one.
Mhm.
The sandwich board.
Well,
yeah.
You know, I'm just, go ahead, I'm sorry, to interrupt you. But the one at the branch, recreation center.
Yes,
It was pretty appealing. It
yes.
was right there. You could read it.
Yeah.
And things like that.
We
Yes.
can, and those A-frames, we own those, and so we use them. There's one at Hoya Park, we put one there, what was the other one? It's all blue.
I know. The library.
The library, and so, but we can expand on that, because the dog park is a great place for that. I mean, where's the high traffic, where does it make sense to put one of those? But, wish we had a mall, I wish we had something where there's maybe it's just getting more. Well, I don't know, I mean,
Soccer field.
Just,
well, we blanketed the Cox and Oregon Good, I mean, we put a lot of signs out there, and surprisingly, they stayed up at that time.
Yeah.
Usually the mowers get to them after about 2 or 3 weeks.
Put a big sign at the police station. And Marshall
Yeah.
Valley.
That's a good corner right there, that is a good corner.
Or
Yeah.
just on the entrances of the city, like something, right?
Yes.
one
Yep.
suggestion though is, if you look at Addison, right, when you're going on
Mhm.
Belfline, there's a big sign.
Oh, yeah,
They have
it's
the
beautiful.
Banners
That's
of bikes.
Oh, yeah. No.
They have this counter on the Eclipse, they have the counter 2 day. So people are always looking at
Yeah.
what's Addison doing. I think we do have Belfline, but there are other places like Josie, some other places. I don't know if we could put something digital, I don't.
I feel like the Four Corners, if there was a banner,
I don't know if that's been done.
I don't think it's legal at this time, but it can be legal.
I think also, Encore, when we used to put them on the poles in
Right.
the city, like they get this big,
Oh,
and
yeah.
they were on the poles, and then Encore, there was something with Encore where we couldn't do it anymore.
But I know some of the big banners, that, like, you can go down Grapevine downtown, maybe there's a
Yeah.
huge banner
Across the street,
across
yeah,
the street
yeah.
that's 3-4 feet wide,
Yeah.
it's mesh, and it seems like that used to be done here. but
Josie and Valley View would be the
You're right.
perfect spot.
Yeah, so maybe we'll talk to our engineering
Yeah.
folks and see what options are
Yeah.
available.
Dallas, for example, when you're going on Inwood or even Midway, they have these signs.
Oh, the banners for the school.
Yeah,
Yeah,
To
Ursula
right on the
and,
pole, and this is all
Yeah.
on pole.
Yeah.
So I don't know if Dallas City owns their own poles or not.
Yeah, like, we used to put that, I don't know, there was something with Encore where they told us you cannot put, but that was years ago.
That was years ago.
I get that again.
one thing that I did notice is that there was no media that I saw, but I was in the back a lot, but I did not see any of the news channels and I think,
Well, I mean, you're not,
I think this was really newsworthy. This was really a newsworthy event.
now, with media, it's a crapshoot. You don't know, they're not obligated to come. I can assure you we had a PR agency doing stuff and there were things that were in the works, but day show, it just depends. Sometimes you can get them to come out, sometimes
Depends on what's happening
it
that day.
depends on whatever happens that day. So they were all pitched for the story, I can assure you that.
And we also had a possible news, early morning, good morning, Texas, good morning's one of those
Mhm.
with WFAA, but that would have been the Friday morning that
Friday
we were
morning.
setting up, and then the news never got back to us
Okay.
on logistical things like that. So we were prepared to
It
make.
could be,
something work.
it could be a blessing in disguise because it could have turned into another Hoya success.
Yeah, that's true.
But I was like, that's
Well-
odd that there's no media here.
Well, now that we have some B-roll footage that we
Yeah.
can put together and have a PR agency pitch, and now you have visuals to show them. This is what we're doing here, whereas we had nothing, we had still pictures.
Right.
Mhm.
And so I think next year we can do a better PR job. But again, day of, they'll tell you all week long, oh yeah, we're sending a crew out.
Yeah.
Where that crew shows up.
They went for a scanning before they come here.
Oh, yeah, they're looking for, I mean, again, maybe moving it to a different weekend gives them fewer options than being immediate to choose from. So I don't know.
Were we competing with other,
Well,
There was, what was there?
McKinney.
Kenny had a
okay.
festival the same day. There was the group from Columbia that backed out of the event because they had a Columbia something in Irving that same day. So there were, was the Irish something,
I feel like there's always something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, one other
Yeah.
thing that we did not have the self-awareness, but that Monday was Holly.
Mhm.
So that would have been a good opportunity, you know, where they bring out like all the paints and they celebrate like life, and that would have been like a fun moment to do like
Okay,
incorporate a Holly thing. I didn't realize it till after the fact, and I was like, oh, well, I missed that. And we do have a large, you know, Indian community
Right.
that would probably have really appreciated that.
So from a marketing standpoint, you know, once, you know, you'll have more time to get the next one done. A lot of these groups have big followings.
Mhm.
So then, you know, on social media, you highlight a group and that'll probably increase some of the flow. Cause I mean, backstage, you'd see a bunch of people come back that weren't part of the groups. They want to take pictures with, they're new, and so trying to keep those people out of the back was tough, but a lot of these groups had huge followings.
and I think now that they've gone through it, of course, that's gonna be the challenge next year. Where do you book similar stuff? Because I mean, we found that, you know, not every group is organized and comes up with, you know, that. So you might see repeat performances. Is that a bad thing? I don't know. I mean, there were some fun groups out there. I want to feature.
The Chinese line dancers were incredible.
Yeah.
You gotta have them again.
That's a philosophical question to ask, you know, how much remains the same? And then I know the Greek dancers, the Colombian, I mean, there were several groups that just couldn't make the date work, but
Yeah,
how much do you stay? Wow, I really like those ones. Bring those guys back. Well, you don't want to keep doing the same thing every year, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
But
A lot of countries out there.
But you do need your staples.
Yeah, you're right. You do need the ones that are just represent or, I don't know. That's a philosophical question to say, okay, what's gonna stay? What's gonna try and be new? All right, so we'll keep moving.
I'm gonna tell one more thing about media, just so kind of you also have a reference, like for Independence Day, they'll show up like 3 minutes before the fireworks.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So that's how they operate, is like, they're here now and you're like, wait, we didn't know you were coming, and so it's like right then, and we're trying to get our logistical down to launch, so it's
Right.
Yeah.
whatever they can just get their hands
Right.
on, like right then.
But now we have we can actually show them, this is what this event is, because we're just flying unknown.
right.
All right, so marketplace.
Okay. We had 29 vendors. Did y'all like the layout of it? We changed it. We went back and forth a couple of times, and Friday, I think late afternoon, we changed it one last time to have the 8 to 10 over there blocking venue, 1842, to just kind of try to block some
Mhm.
construction
Yeah.
and not make that
Mhm.
look like an eyesore. So we went back and forth, on that, and the loading in, I don't know, you helped with loading,
Yeah.
load out.
Yeah.
Did you think that went okay, smooth?
Yeah, it's just, one of the only comments I had was when they're coming in, I was told that you gotta move them out and get them out there, but some people came in without nobody.
Yeah.
Without anybody to help them. So I was like, okay, I may wanna, she got offended, I guess, but moving them out initially is going to require more than one person to do. Because I was walking across like this, I was trying to time people for how long it's gonna take, so.
Right. Okay.
But I think it went pretty well because we had somebody in the gate telling them what to do, that we had somebody, Joshua or somebody,
Well, we had Scott, the intern,
yeah,
who was getting a little taste of
Yeah.
event management.
right.
So he was thrown in the,
Yeah, so it went pretty well, and then having them leaving was never a problem, they're just ready to go home,
yeah,
Right.
so.
okay, I think that what we heard was, other events, this was actually the martial arts lady. Said that other event, you know, the fact that everybody was facing into the meadow and it was not compartmentalized where other events, you just felt disconnect. Everything was facing in, and that allowed everything to kind of just stand at the stage
Mhm.
and literally do a 180 and see everything, where it was all visually. And it was, you know, that was what Megan said. We last minute food trucks didn't show up. And it's like, all right, let's drop 8 tents right here and we'll just do a whole row of tents on this side. And it
Mhm.
worked.
It was
Yeah.
great. I would
I like
think
it.
one thing about that. Yeah.
Well, next year's gonna be again, back to another programming, how do you program the venue center to be part of the event? I don't know. Why?
So,
Quick question though, did you get feedback from people that were they able to get sales? Or,
Not yet. We've hit the food vendors first, but we've not had a chance to follow up and, I have not had any contact with
They
any
have
groups.
not
Just,
either.
you know, hey, how did it go that day? But,
yeah, because if they don't make money, then they're not gonna come.
Right.
fortunately, the booth fee was very nominal. I mean, for $100 for a
Right.
nonprofit,
Yeah,
be out there for 6 hours and you got your tent set up for you. I mean.
Yeah.
you know,
I believe most of the nonprofits really, it was about visibility more than selling something.
Yeah.
Really quick question with regard to that. So when we did Viva, when you were on your way out, we had people at the exits and we had a QR code and we just asked you to answer, I think, 3 questions, like a quick survey. Did we do anything like that or
No.
Okay.
We just didn't have, and with get all that.
maybe for next year, just to have that survey, like how, what did you like the most or what did you like? the
We can
least,
still
or-
do that with the marketplace. I mean, that's just a matter of hitting them back up and
Okay,
just getting feedback. We just hadn't gotten to that, but that's a simple, but we will need to do that because we do want to find out whether they thought it was worth the exposure, was it worth the investment, and did they sell and accomplish what they needed to? I know the people from Richardson, the Buddhist group, well, they were just having a great time. It's just, I don't know how the Turkish, the coffee thing, I'm curious
yeah.
how that went, or.
Well, my wife spent some money over there.
They made their booth fee.
Yeah. All right, anything else on that?
Anything
Alright.
else on
On
that?
Marketplace?
No, that was good.
Oh, are you up or me?
You.
Food. So I don't know if y'all knew this, but we had the Halal Mother truckers canceled that morning. They were food or a truck got in an auto accident. Another group, the Ouija's, bailed on us that Tuesday. So we were like, oh gosh, but we came together. I think it worked, as they say, sometimes things just work out for the best. I think, and that gave us the right number of food offerings for everyone. And I think they were all, pleased. I mean, they didn't make a year's salary, that weekend, but I think it fit with what they invested and what they got in return. So whether, we can obviously expand different offerings or what, but I think for the food folks, they were mostly satisfied.
Were there burgers there? I didn't get to spend that much time over there. I didn't know if there.
There were.
Yeah,
Yeah.
The dragon
Question.
burger.
Dragon burgers, yeah.
question was, were there ethnic food trucks or not? Like Greek food, for example,
If we-
Indian food, Chinese.
Well, the Luigi's, I mean, you had halal, I mean, we had things lined up and it just, for whatever, this was the African Caribbean, J&M. So I didn't hear anything from people just upset that we didn't have food offerings.
No,
Yeah.
So-
Also, it was hard to get every single, different thing because with the requirements and the
Right.
permits and stuff, and
Mhm.
since they just switched that, I feel like this year it was, we got what we could and I feel like we did a really good job,
Yeah,
but
I agree.
it's not really, feasible, especially with the permit changes and things for Farmers Branch, because we weren't able to, some food vendors don't want to pay that.
Yeah.
Especially just for a first time event to come over here.
But now we have numbers, so that we can tell someone next year, hey, this is what this vendor did. And at least be able to have something that they can gauge whether they want to participate with us or not.
And I feel
we're
like
always-
a lot more, I feel like a lot more food truck people are getting their permits now.
I hope so.
Because we didn't
Yeah.
really have the time frame also.
Well, and that permitting stuff had really just hit and rolled out in September when we were getting started and working through all of that. So.
And then again, like bad luck, Luigi's finally cranked up his truck and realized it didn't run. The week of the event, it's like, we should just put this thing in hibernation. 6 months. And anyway, it's just unfortunate. All right.
Their truck was good.
Yes.
What is-
I just talked to Pete.
Didn't make it that far.
Uh-huh.
Hey.
All right.
It was right next to ours.
Yeah.
It was so good.
We were stuck in the back.
y'all had unlimited snacks, so.
We did. We did.
Event cleanup?
Everything,
Thank y'all,
Yeah,
first, thank y'all
yeah.
for
yes,
helping us with that, because that's always, it's the day's long and it's like, I do this cleanup now. But thank y'all.
we appreciate all of your help on that. We thought the event cleanup went smooth and well and quick. We appreciated being out early and anything y'all could see different that we did on cleanup, that
It was good. It was pretty cooperative and we got the equipment to cut. the Yeah.
I wondered what was gonna happen to the rocks that we took from that. Rocks back.
I just threw them in the trash.
I wasn't gonna go put them. I'm not even sure I knew about the rocks.
I think we started putting them on one table, because I started realizing. I'm like, okay, Tony Derrickson, I come looking for these, he's the, so, whether they made it back, I don't know. Anyway.
anything else for cleanup? Okay, so discussing next year's date, we are looking at Saturday, March 29th. The
That just-
potential,
Puts it off 1 week later, just to avoid any potential spring break conflicts or anything that, it's getting later in the month, it doesn't impact, I think Easter's later into April next year, so there was the issue we ran into this year with the egg hunt the night before, which,
Oh, perfect.
so I think that will give us a free and clear weekend, and then kind of need to let Lynette know, so that the venue, the event center can be,
Yeah, do you think that for the event center that we would be able to use that space maybe for an exhibit
well,
or?
that, again, that depends on what we can program with that. I mean, some of our goals that we've, strategic goals for the city we put forth is to how can we engage the local RISD and some sort of art contest, and that could be displayed there. And then,
PFB.
sorry,
We understood what you're saying. Like, yeah, that would be fantastic to have like some kind of a,
yes,
an art show or some kind of a, and, you know, in recent times here at the historical park and at the library, you're doing stuff for a lot of stuff for adults now, that like sewing stuff, quilting, crocheting, like since it's a historical park, maybe have like something where you could learn, like adults can learn how to do something. I don't know if this would be the right venue, but
well, that's where we would lean on the task force, you know, to say, okay, what's feasible, what can we reasonably expect to do, and outreach and so, but, you know, whether we have an artist, if we do more art during this event, and having a visiting artist program that goes into the schools, and an international artist that's featured every year, and you bring them, I don't know, there's, you know, there's a lot of options, but how to program that building for next year, and whether it becomes part of the usage, I don't know, but displaying something that needs to be protected from wind and rain and the elements would be ideal on how to use that.
Kids entertainment, they also work in there too.
Sure. Good.
You know, they wouldn't be competing with the sounds.
Right.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so, I don't know, lots, again, how we want to program that's kind of, but that's the date that we were gonna propose to our city council. And obviously get on the calendar of the park, this park and the event center. And you know, again, there's gonna be stuff we're gonna be competing with. There's just, can't get around that.
I mean, that would be any weekend.
Yeah.
There's always stuff
Yeah.
going on.
yeah.
And the Metroplex.
Yeah, there's always gonna be something that's gonna conflict, but
All right, so I'm gonna jump right into, this is kind of, I'm gonna transition to the task force and just kind of recapping for you guys, you know, your duties during the event. Do you feel like they were, you know, necessary, not necessary? Did you see some things, oh my gosh, we gotta have something, address that next year. We were lacking in that area, or maybe overstaffed. And this is kind of the day of, do you feel like we hit it as far as how you guys were lined out, what you were doing and that kind of thing? It's just kind of a general,
I mean, I think we were good back where we were. I think we had the right amount of people,
okay.
backstage.
I mean, did you arrive on time? Was it too early to get there? Was it,
No.
right?
No, because I think, we were there to help all the things that, that you couldn't have
It's a
imagined.
flying.
Thank you.
And the rocks.
No, but yeah, but I would think it was good to get the layout and the understanding of what's gonna happen and give us
Yeah.
time to kind of set up and prepare for what we're doing as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was, I'm glad I was there early because I could help Sandy when people start coming in. So, but after that, it was just wait and see. I started walking around the booth, so
Yeah,
how's
you
it
did.
going?
Yeah.
And that's kind of, and that's the nature of I mean, once the event gets up and running, it kind of runs itself, as they say.
Yeah.
You kind of switch modes into, now you're an ambassador, you're just kind of checking in, thanking people and just kind of. It just, anyway, but that was just a chance for you guys, to your duties during the event. And then I'm gonna kind of go into this task force in general. Do y'all feel it was the good representation of Farmers Branch? Do you feel it was the number of membership? I mean, you don't want to get these things too big where you
Yeah.
can't get anything decided.
Right.
Did we meet enough? Did we not meet enough? Were the meetings purposeful? Did y'all feel engaged? I know we were up against a very short window and it's tough to get things going when you have holidays and you guys understanding our schedules. I mean,
Oh, yeah,
first time we met, I was like, guys, we have bluegrass next weekend.
Right.
Our staff is gonna be in about
Right.
5 different trajectories here. And so this is y'all's chance to kind of give us the feedback. Was this thing beneficial?
Seems like-
Absolutely.
There would be a longer time frame to plan stuff out for the next year. I know it was first time and everything's kind of, right.
Yeah, I think I don't know where the line is, but you guys do such a phenomenal job. I mean, you are incredible.
Well, I think that line's gonna continue to evolve and move.
And I think, we met monthly and it was really nice that you were telling us, kind of how everything was gonna look. But I think in the future, if either us or whoever else you work with in the future, that you should be able to call us and say, we're in a pickle. Can you come and give us 2 hours and help us make these calls? And here's the script. Obviously not everybody's available to do that, but I feel like maybe we could have been there a little bit to help with those like menial tasks that pretty much anybody can do.
Yeah, I mean, I got the chance to call people from the Indian because we weren't getting any responses. But, so sending emails sometimes is not
Right.
good enough, so you gotta call them. And I was glad to do it. It was important to have it be successful.
Well, I think it's gonna evolve and we're on such a short time frame this year. And then you threw the holidays right in there. I mean, it's just kind of, in Hoya, I mean, there's just like unusual things and then Megan was out on maternity. I mean, we were kind of just.
We're all over the place.
Yeah, and I think at that point, I think Sandy and I just kind of like, look, we gotta get this, and we'll figure some things out and then just brief the committee on.
It was incredible.
You just had to kind of
Yeah.
Yeah.
wing it, as I say, fake it till you make it or something.
But you guys are a machine, like, as far as
Yeah.
putting on
yeah.
events, you guys are a machine.
Yeah.
Y'all got that done.
Yeah, you got
You
it.
do it
And-
so well.
But with the time constraints, I mean, we were all under that pressure. We wanted to do more, but we didn't know what to do. We all didn't know what we were doing for this one.
Yeah.
So, the next group coming in, if it's not us, they'll have more time to do that and to really throw a lot of ideas out there and a lot of different things.
Okay, that's good. That's good feedback yeah, thank you all again on behalf of the city for what you.
Oh, thank
But
you.
we'll get some things and we're kind of going into this now. Megan can kind of take you there, but the future. So,
So we don't know what the future is beyond this meeting because technically it is supposed to sunset after tonight. But we will give a follow-up to city council in a month to 2 months, just giving our recap presentation. We think the event should go forward. What do you as the council want from the task force and us as the events team to do? Do you want the event to stay? Do you want the task force to stay? So we will prepare that with all of our notes from tonight, the recap, and go forth and conquer to see what the future is of
Have we received
the task
any
force.
feedback yet from council?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, you have?
I think I got
I mean-
great feedback.
We got some really
Yeah.
good feedback. the mayor was very ecstatic.
Mhm.
I know David is
Yeah.
from my district. He really liked it, and I haven't talked to anyone else, but I think they want to do it again.
I definitely think they want to do it again. Like I say, we're putting it in the budget for more money. I mean, our recommendation for staff is to, if there's, all the ins and outs of life, and is to recommend that the task force stay intact. I think for synergy and what we've learned the first year, that to reach this potential, you need the same group. And because I don't think staff wants to have to keep going back and reinventing the wheel every year. I'll certainly, at some point, you're gonna have to transition off. And there really was not any define that. It's like you said, beyond the first year, but I think our recommendation is to keep it as is. Obviously, we got some attendance issues we gotta work through, and, people that were on the committee that we've not seen, and, and it's not fair. It's not fair to, you fill that spot, but I think we're gonna go back and say there has to be some attendance requirements for this, because it's just not fair to those that are coming every weekend or month in and month out. But I think our recommendation is gonna keep this intact, then maybe coming up with, is it every 2 years? I don't know, but I don't know how the regular boards of
Well,
commissions.
it might be a good idea to sort of have some transition off so that you don't have like a whole new team.
Sure.
Every couple of years, and maybe have half transition off and then bring in another half, and that way you always have.
You're right, because the other boards operate like that. It's not all at one time.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be our recommendation, is to be treated as an actual board, so we can follow all of the board rules that because we were a task force, our rules were just a little bit different as far as like attendance things, and so just trying to figure out what that looks like
Yeah.
going forward.
Yeah, we are allowed only to miss three meetings, that's it.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely there needs to be something in there that addresses that, because I don't think it's productive to keep replacing people. Even though, I mean, we got it early on that, but you don't have to halfway through the thing, or, we gotta replace this person, then what do? Someone gets brought in at the last minute, and I don't know, there's things to figure out, but that's kind of what, we've got a presentation to make. Where it's just,
Well, you didn't replace. I think we ended up being exactly who needed to be here.
Yeah.
And I think even if we keep like all of us on, or, cause obviously, who knows what any of us are gonna do in the future, 3 years, however many years from now. But like, we can always bring new people on as well, and since we've already like done it this year, kinda. I'm looking for a particular word. Yes, like that. Sorry, my brain coming.
It's the end of the day, we're good.
So,
so yeah,
cause
that's,
I had fun.
well, good, thank you again.
I love that idea. I'm so excited now.
So when that presentation is, I don't know, it might be good to have y'all.
Yeah.
Is it-
in the-
It's
I don't
going to
know.
be in a study session.
I don't know. Typically, those are study session type deals. I don't know if y'all ever saw the one we did in February that we just recapped. It's kind of interesting. We went into that meeting with the logo design. I appreciated not having to have to go back and present things. Oh, is this getting approval? We kind of had a
Carte blanche.
yeah, I mean, I appreciated that, I think, which is a testament to, the leadership saying, you guys do what you do. And, even our little mission statement, I just kind of made that up.
Even on Saturday at the event that we went to on Saturday, I actually, approached our mayor and the city council people there and said, thank you so much for believing in us.
Right.
Because they really did believe in us. They didn't, micromanage us. They didn't, show up to the meeting and say, thanks for being on the task force. By the way, it has to look like this.
Yeah.
You
there
know,
was
they,
literally-
yeah,
there's none of that.
Yeah.
And I was kind of holding even on the logo, I mean, we designed it and sent it to our arts director at the time, like, this is what we're going with,
Like it.
It's,
yeah. just
So
leave it
we'll
for
keep
now.
the same logo next year, right?
oh yeah,
That's a good logo.
we're not gonna mess with that. I mean, it's branded and we like the look, and it's-
People will start recognizing it.
Yeah, I think they need to start seeing that.
One question,
Nice to.
one question on marketing. Was ever a mailer sent out in the water bill or something like that?
It was in the, it was
It
in the
was in
water
the
bill.
water bill, I think, yeah.
But that,
We don't get the water bill because we get
Election.
combined.
so.
It's for different meetings.
Yeah,
I think,
Different meeting.
yeah, I think the marketing was incredible. I mean, social media,
Yeah.
that's really what everybody does now. You did a great job. And then now that you have the B-roll, now you'll be able to blow it out of the water.
yeah.
I felt like maybe for next year, I guess maybe it won't be that big of a deal, but we did spend a lot of time on that saying hello in 5,200 different languages, that maybe we could have spent that time on something else, but
Sure,
I don't think it was that big of a deal.
and
I
we'll,
never saw that video.
I didn't ever see it either.
so.
Did it fizzle?
I-
It fizzled, I don't know.
Did
I-
anyone count the number of flags?
I asked Jana that tonight, because that was the idea to do that, but I don't think it ever got counted. I have pictures, but I don't have that number. All right, so before we go, I just want to tell you all, thank you. I've enjoyed working with you all. Today, I turned in my notice. I'm leaving the city.
You're joking.
I'm not, and I just want you to know that it's been a blast. I've had a wonderful time with y'all. But I just ready to kind of do something a little different and.
Where are you
expand.
going?
I'm just pursuing some other avenues, so.
And then
So then there's Megan and Leon.
You've
But-
done such an incredible
Yeah,
job.
thank you. I've had a great team and Sandy's not here to hear this, but, obviously it takes a team and Parks Department has been phenomenal. And, just the leadership and teamwork has been great. And so I won't be far. I'll just leave it at that. But anyway, thank you all. I appreciate it. It's been, as I told Megan today, I think our last 4 big events, what I call, starting with Independence Day last year, Bluegrass, the Christmas event we did, and Gateway, I think some of the best work we've put out in a long time.
Your shoes are
So-
going to be really hard to
So
fill.
Megan, anyway, there's not been any announcement, I mean, I'm not even, but anyway, I did recommend that Megan take into the role.
Oh,
So,
yay.
anyway, that was just me telling Rob, our director today, so I'm leaving, but.
By the way.
But anyway, I just want to thank you all. It's been
Oh.
a wonderful journey.
Then come back next year. Then come back next year.
I definitely will, but thank you all. I appreciate it.